All right. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday evening. My name's Scott Lewis, and the host of the show tonight. And Jack McPartlen is going to be doing the presentation, the eXp Explained, or Introduction to eXp Realty is what the slide says. So he's going to be doing that. And I think Tony Hughes is going to be popping on towards the end tonight and doing a revenue share explained. So again, my internet has been very in and out. So hopefully I can get through this introduction and turn it over to Jack. But it's 7:30 here now where I am in Puerto Rico. So we'll give it another 2 or 3 minutes. Just like to make sure anybody that's having an issue logging in or having a technical issue has a minute or two to work through that. And we'll get started here in just a second.
Getting into the big one and stay on Zoom here.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Again, my name's Scott Lewis, coming to you live here from Puerto Rico. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great.
Thumbs up, Ron. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, Eric. Thumbs up. So happy to be here tonight. Always happy to be around folks that are interested in or that are with this great company. I'm going to just share with you really quickly a little bit about me and my story, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jack here, and Jack McPartlen, who is an absolute rock star up in the Massachusetts area. He's been with eXp about a couple of years now, and just
4 years now.
4 years, wow! And is a proven leader. He's built a large organization, and he is one of the best at sharing this opportunity. I personally saw this opportunity 7 years ago now. It's hard to believe. 7 years fly by. I was living in San Antonio, Texas at the time, and a friend of mine named Rob Flick, who's still the #1 income earner in the world at eXp, or at least has the largest organization. I believe if he's not #1 in income, he's #2. There's kind of a neck and neck battle there between 1 and 2 all the time. But anyway, regardless, he called me and told me he was getting out of real estate to get back in to join forces with this company called eXp. And I said, eXp, what's that? I said, I never heard of it. I said, ESP. He said, no, eXp. And I'm like, dude, I never heard of that. And he said, well, they've been around 4 years, but they only have about 600 agents, and they don't have any agents in San Antonio. You would be the first. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I said, okay, only because it's you, Rob, I'll take a look at it. And lo and behold, I looked at this just like if you're seeing it for the first time. The model hasn't changed in 7 years. It's grown tremendously. We have now gone from what was 620 agents then to now 87,000 agents as of this last week in 30-something countries. And I look at that and I just have to kind of pinch myself sometimes and go, how did that happen? But really, I know how it happened. And not that to beat my chest or brag, but I knew when I saw it because I really was not that interested in building another real estate company. But I knew when I saw this for the first time that it was going to be something special. And I knew when I saw it that it potentially could change the real estate industry. And I think it's safe to say we've done that. I think it's safe to say that eXp has probably changed more lives than any other real estate company in history, and done it in a very quick fashion. You know, in the beginning, when you get part of something like this, they say you're crazy. And then after you start winning, they say you're lucky, right? And so it's kind of funny how that works. But, you know, I jumped on board, was the first agent to join in San Antonio. Have now built, you know, an agent or a team of over 7,000 agents in all 50 countries, or all 50 states, excuse me, 7 provinces of Canada, and about 17 different countries. And I go, wow, that's pretty crazy how that happened. But what's really cool to me is the opportunity, Dorothy, is probably better today than it was 7 years ago. And more people are taking advantage of this opportunity and growing faster now than anyone ever did back then. I just talked to an agent today that joined this company 6 weeks ago, and he's grown his team by 84 agents in 6 weeks. And you look at that and you go, wow, that's just unbelievable. How do they do that? Well, they do that because they have, you know, probably a lot of contacts and probably been in the industry for a while. But it still shows you that this opportunity is crazy amazing, and there's so many facets to it: the technology, the ownership, the culture, the stock. And you know, I just encourage you, if you're looking at this for the first time, you know, your mind is like a parachute, right? Think about it. Works better when it's open. A closed mind. And I had a mentor one time. His name is Joe Mangione. Lives in San Antonio. He's still there. He made millions in the real estate business. He was never an agent, but he was an investor and developer. But he used to tell me all the time, he would say, I look at every opportunity that crosses my desk, because you never know when the next life-changing opportunity is going to show up. And so, you know, I'm here to tell you that this has been a life-changing opportunity for many, many people. It's still the best real estate opportunity I've ever seen. I still see it changing more lives. I see more agents closing more transactions. I've had now dozens of agents become millionaires on my team through the stock and through the ownership. And it just makes sense, right? If you're going to build a business, build your brand, get some ownership, right? And get some passive income. So, you know, I'm going to turn it over to Jack now and let him go through the presentation and share with you the model of eXp, because before you can make a decision or do anything with it, you have to understand what it is. So if you're looking at it again for the first time, I really encourage you to pay close attention. Jack will, I promise you, he's going to do an amazing job. It's going to be a lot of information. Hang in there. It's like a smorgasbord in Las Vegas, right? You can't eat it all the first time you see it, right? So you're going to have to see it a few times and to really understand it. And you still probably won't understand it for, you know, maybe seeing it 5 or 6 times. But once you get it and once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's the cool thing about it, is once you really understand that eXp has made it possible for you as an agent to build and grow your real estate business around the world, right? In a platform with no limitations, eliminating the risk, eliminating the overhead immensely, 10 times better than any franchise you could ever buy or purchase, because there's no borders, no boundaries. And once that sinks in, and once you begin to understand the opportunity from that, I don't care if you're a brand new agent or you've been in the business 20 years, you can't deny it. And so again, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Can't wait to hear from each one of you. Jack, the floor is all yours, my friend.
Scott, thank you so much. And, everyone, he was very subtle, really just explaining he's been with eXp for 7 years, but he's one of our leaders. I consider him a mentor. He's done some amazing trainings and, just an amazing guy, amazing family guy. So Scott, thank you so much. And everyone, let me, jump right there. My screen's going a little too fast. So what we're gonna cover is who we are. And everyone, let me just start off by saying, like, did everyone play sports when you were growing up? Yeah. So remember, like, no matter how many practices you went through, but when you got your first touchdown, your first hit, your first goal, whatever it may have been in sports, like, remember that feeling? How amazing that was, right? And especially in this case, maybe you did something like you made a big block, or you did some team effort that you made such a big play for someone else in your team, how like that raised the level of the whole team and the execution of that, right? So I'm a sports coach for boys. I've been a sports coach since second grade for the ladies knuckleheads in Massachusetts, where I live. I'm in Central Mass, about an hour west of Boston. But I want to resonate with that because, right, in our lives, right, when you execute at a higher level, in this case, when you're on a team, it's just not only an amazing feeling, right, that accomplishment and what we do together, right, that leads into the next week and the next week. I'll get into this a little bit with the detail of how that connects to eXp, but I just wanted to share that message of, what did it feel like when you first had your big play, whatever age we were, right, growing up and playing sports. eXp brings so much to the table. And as Scott says, it's kind of like a fire hose right now that we're going to have a lot of information coming at us. But please, write down some notes, write down some questions, the dynamic of some takeaways for tonight, things that you want to add and build to your business. Like there's some tools that might resonate with you and we share, but let me jump into this. So as my screen is jumping around here. All right, so if you didn't know this, Glenn Sanford is our CEO, and he is another leader in this company that has done so much for not only his current presence in what he's leading in the company now, but when he started, just out 2009, what he tried to establish early on, I feel like for me, the grabbing attention of being a virtual company, but yet I'll say people-based, the rewards, the agents are owners in this company, all the layers of tools and support that we get, and I'll share this as we go along here, but, Glenn really believed that agents and brokers, we do the heavy lifting, so we deserve the benefits of, how we get our commissions, we get stock, we have revenue share, we get all these added values from the partnerships we have, even healthcare. And I'll get into that as we go along here. So who we are and how we made it till today. So this is a timeline, right? Here's a timeline of 2009 when eXp started, and as we're growing here from year to year. To me, like one of the dynamics is 2018 when we've joined the NASDAQ. So EXPI is our ticker, our stock ticker, and then just how we've grown from there. As Scott said, this slide's a little older. It says we have 67,000 agents, but now it's 87,000 agents. We're in 23 plus countries these days. But again, I think the dynamic, not to showcase that dynamic, it's what all the programs, all the people, right, all the awesome things that are happening, and that's the stuff I want to share tonight, just to showcase what all this means. eXp core values, there's so many here with community, having fun, being agile, being innovative, in the integrity part of our business and what we do. For me, it's collaboration. And I think that resonates with me about, team building and being on teams. There's so many people that share what, and their successes of how they've built their business with our icon agents, with we have a tool called Workplace. It's like Facebook just built for us, where we can share information or we can ask a question, and within minutes, you're going to get answers. There's so many team members all around us, not just in the US, across the world now, that you can ask a question and someone's going to get right back to you. It's amazing. So if you're a brand new agent trying to learn your way, or what you're doing, to the most experienced agent, and you have a platform or a network that you're just trying to connect with another agent, a title company, some business entity in another state, another country, it really is a special place. And a showing case, or the showing case of this is how we all do business together. So our business model. So I love this slide just to give some examples of past other businesses, like as we call brick and mortar, like Blockbuster, Circuit City, in this case, traditional real estate brokerage. Now, right, these days, like Amazon, eXp, Netflix, these are companies that are innovative and you could say blowing up the business that no one thought. In the owners of like Blockbuster, for example, they never thought they'd go out of business. They thought they had such a demand and people would love to go to their stores and pick up videos, right? Well, as soon as Netflix came around, how not ease just for the customers, but for everyone, for the business model, what an amazing thing. Our kids watch Netflix all the time. But eXp, that's the dynamic, the innovation that we have, and continuing to innovate and do better. It's like a continuous improvement type of aspect. They're always on the forefront of how we can all do better together. And what I mean by that, the business, how can they support us as the agent, so collectively we all do better. One brokerage, not a franchise. This is so important. We don't have costly overhead. We're not locally confined. I can share so many examples on that network alone. Like, so for example, if I get a lead in Florida, I can jump onto Workplace and say, hey, I have an interested party who wants to sell their home in Tampa. Can anyone help me? Within minutes, I'm getting like text messages, emails, calls, and like, Jack, I live in Tampa. I know this area well. What do you need? And just that. So I'm lining up to help my client, or in this case, a person I'm talking to. Now I'm lining up the professional from eXp who knows that area well. And in this case, for me to generate some referrals, right? Some referral business. There's so many stories to me when I can talk about that of just sharing information and building our business together amongst, in this case, many people or many states, many countries. We have, the potential that your earnings that you could have with eXp is, I'll get into the details between the stock, the revenue share, and then, obviously just our sales alone from what we do. But also I'll say like the aspect of, again, the team part of this, people giving back to our communities, people giving back to other agents, and just that overall team emphasis. It is awesome. I just want to highlight the live training here. This again is a fairly older slide. We have these days, it's over 80 hours of live training, and that's in the eXp world within the university. And, depending on what courses that you want to select during the week, you can go in ahead of time to check that out, because there's a schedule that happens every week. These days, now that we're kind of getting out of the COVID timeline, there's a lot of live trainings that are in different states. Our state brokers host weekly meetings and have amazing trainings. Guys like Tom Trung jumps around the country, and Scott himself, doing their own live trainings. And those are amazing, right? Those to me, because you're networking with people, you're hearing like best practice stories, and then you can implement those type of things with your business. Those are so rewarding. And if you haven't seen any of those live type of trainings, I would highly suggest, join in on those in your areas. So let me jump ahead here. So the agent-centric and value proposition. we're the most agent-centric company on the planet, right? And for me, I like to compare this as, my background is a safety manager for over 20 years. So I come from a corporate environment. I'll call it like a Fortune 100 type of companies, but by far eXp in their element of not just compensation, not just connection with the community, it's in all the tools that we get, in my valuation of what I've seen in my career is the very best. So let me just start off by the, compensation part of this. There's no franchise fees. Our commissions start at an 80-20 split. Our cap is at $16,000. And once, just think of this, if you sell 3.2 million in business, in my area, it's about 8 homes, about 800, well, yeah, say $600,000, $400,000 per home. If once I hit that 3.2 million mark, then I'm on 100% commissions, right? Now, I'm not sure of all your areas, but just think of that, the high value towns, if you're in a city, for example, you might only sell 3 homes and then you'll be on 100% commissions. The revenue share program, in this example, what that means is if I sponsor an agent, right, or if you sponsor an agent, every time that agent sells a home, you'll get a commission from that. You'll get essentially a referral fee from eXp, not that agent. And again, I'll explain some of that a little bit in more detail, but that can be a powerful revenue stream that almost like think of a bonus program in the corporate world. But in this example, not even close to any Fortune 100 company that would pay that type of money. Equity awards for our production goals. A lot of times what I share, I host like weekly meetings for my team, and I challenge them. So we have fees like any company does, but I'll challenge them to, when you get your rewards in stock alone, you could technically negate any of the fees that we have just from your performance. And as you build your business with others in your revenue share team, it is a special thing. Access to high quality and affordable health insurance, and that's with the company called Clearwater. We have a slide. I'll share that in a second as well. But again, for me, with the aspect of team building and community, everything, the detail about, cloud-based environment, you can go in, into the world, as we call it, our eXp world. You're an avatar, right? You're a cartoon character, but you can make yourself look like you or look like whatever you want. The value of this, though, is all the support we get. So from client services, from onboarding, from all the, learning that we get through the eXp University, from our state broker teams that are just amazing. They're so supportive of us, right? There's multiple layers of support that we get. If you're a brand new agent, you'll get a local mentor to help you build your business. You'll have your sponsor and just other local leaders that are always there to help support. I feel like that value point, I can't emphasize that enough, of how many layers of support that we get to build our businesses. The partner community that we have in professional services is bar none the best. And I have a couple stories about that I'll share once we get along our slides, and how I've made sales and closed on homes because of those partnerships. The mentorship program alone is awesome, right? Because it's a local leader, it's a local agent that is experienced in that area to help build those new agents in their business skills. Let me just, the dynamic of cloud-based, right? So from the technology of, eXp and all the virtual parts, of our business, and even fun stuff. Like my son still goes into the eXp world to drive a big boat around, or we could play basketball, or soccer. During COVID, there was different state teams challenging each other, playing soccer against each other, and seeing who was the best of the best from state to state. But some very important part of our front end building of the business, the pieces like KV Core. If you've never seen KV Core before or even heard about it, it's a powerful lead generation tool. It's a connectivity to our clients and then future leads. I'll share some of that in detail in a second here. but Sky Slope, that's another tool that we have that's all of our transactions that are saved electronically. And again, it's such ease of getting our documentation in order and having the broker team review our files and make sure that we're in compliance way before closing day. So that value point right there, when we close that day, you'll get paid your commissions and, your share as part of your activities in that transaction. So again, let me just jump ahead here so no desk fees, no royalties or franchise fees. When I mentioned about the 80-20 commission split and then the 16,000 cap. So, right, if you're a well-networked agent, or even if you're a new agent, right, and then you just all of a sudden get some rock star leads and you're off and running in your business, you could right away get onto 100% commissions. And to me, what's awesome about that on the other detail, when you go ahead and sell 20 more homes in a year, now eXp, because of your performance, they're going to pay you back that $16,000 in stock. Now imagine if you did that 2-3 times in a row, and as the stock, right, with companies as it grows, you're going to be adding to your, and at least for me, I know a lot of the I'll say EXP agents that's their future retirement, right? That's their savings for their future retirement. Some people, like younger folks, they may say, screw that, man, I want to buy my first house, I want to buy my first car, right? So they use that as a means for other things in life. Standard costs. So once you sign up, you complete your application, it's $149 startup fee. We have $85 per month cloud brokerage fee, which covers all the tools, all the access to the world, everything about that. And then only when you sell, a home, a condo, rental type of aspect, you have a $25 transaction review fee and a $40 risk management fee. Now this is just for residential. This is not commercial. That's a different part of that. But those are the only fees that we have. And again, for new agents, I always like to share that dynamic of building upon their performance with stock incentives, and how we get rewards for our performance to essentially pay for those fees, so we don't actually have a fee at the end of the year. So the revenue share program, my screen keeps on jumping ahead here a little bit, but this is a special thing. And again, like coming from the corporate world, there's not too many companies that will actually, pay out, if you will, based on, how our model works. So again, if you sponsor an agent, every time that agent sells a home, in this case, there's 7 different levels of that connectivity, you'll be getting, paid for those sales. And the agents don't pay for this. eXp pays us for this, right? They'll pay you for this. Let me jump ahead here so we can show some of the details around this. So as we call, our tier 1, this is, the 7 tiers or 7 levels of this. You can get paid up to $2,800 per capping agent. So for me, the best example I can give is if you had 10 capping agents on your team, that's $28,000 of extra income that you get in a year based on this model, based on their sales and eXp paying us for that, right? And then as that grows, right, as you grow to your levels of folks that join your team, if you will, right, and it builds into those levels, that's the dynamic of how powerful this can get. So, this example is showcasing from tier 1 to tier 2, where you get up to $3,200 per capping agent on tier 2. And then this next slide, I think, is a good one to showcase that, breaking down for each of the 7 levels, what you get paid up to per capping agent, right? And then the qualifying aspect of this is So this is the number of agents that you have in each tier that you then get paid out upon, if that makes sense. And again, like as Scott said before, I'm just kind of sharing this as an introductory type of, presentation. Please take notes down, and if the dynamic of who invited you here tonight, or if you have questions later for us, please ask. But I can give you some examples, some powerful stories that some of the agents that have put time into this, and you don't have to do this. This is not mandatory. If you want to just sell homes, and connect with your sphere and the network that you have in your area, you can just do that. But I think for me, when you build upon this part of the business, and this could be a game changer for your family. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Looks like I'm having some connectivity problems for a second here. So this is just another example of the revenue share plan chart. It's broken down from, as they call it, the adjusted gross compensation income, ACGI or AGCI, the percentage of what you would get, per transaction. But then more importantly, the FLQA, the frontline qualifying agent. So those are the folks that are, selling homes, and you're getting those percentages of the exponential share, right? Based upon their sales. So jumping into the I'll call it in this case the healthcare, right? Agent healthcare by Clearwater. So many agents, if you're a full-time agent, and the cost that you kind of would have for getting healthcare is very expensive, right? Especially if you have a family. Just think of this dynamic though, with 87,000 agents, the buying power that we have alone, but with what Clearwater offers us is just an amazing way of having health insurance for our families, but at minimal costs. And so I would, in this case, if you're not in eXp right now, but I'm sure maybe even some testimonials here, folks that are with eXp, that the dynamic is you would have your same doctor, you'd have your same plan or better for healthcare, and at a lower cost. Most people have traditionally been a realtor for years, and in this case had their own insurance, health insurance. They were paying high premiums. With the way Clearwater works and what they offer us at eXp is they offer all the same services, but it's a lower price point. So I've known some agents have told me they've saved $1,800 per year, $3,000 per year. So it's just an added value that we get in having really nice, rock star, I'll call it, healthcare for our families. And just some of the pieces here about the open network, the low co-pays, but all the additional pieces about vision, dental, critical illness, accident coverage. I'll say wellness programs, right, to keep us healthy and keep us in a dynamic of living long and awesome lives. Clearwater is an amazing company. So I just want to, at the bottom here, you can check out this part of the the plans that they offer, expagенthealthcare.com. And again, whoever, who invited you here tonight, if that's something important to you, and I would follow up with them as well. So the cloud-based brokerage, what does this all mean? Welcome to our world, anytime, anywhere, right? So this picture of the phone, what this is just showing that, in the eXp university within the world, these are different either auditoriums, meeting rooms, conference rooms, all access to, whatever, in this case, if it's a training that you're getting into, you build out your training schedule for the week. After, like, say, Sunday night, you go into the world and see what's being offered. Or it could be meeting with client services. It's almost like you wait in line to pull like a lunch ticket, right? A meet ticket to get in line of who you're going to talk to next. And you get bounced right into an office. You're right across the table from someone, an avatar, right? But someone live to talk about whatever your concern or whatever questions you have, and then get your answers, and you're running for the day. Again, there's other dynamics of layers, we call it here, with our broker teams, with workplace. These are all aspects of what eXp offers us as agents, so we can do our business and be effective at what we're doing. eXp Enterprise, this component of what I'll call as part of our tools is just another aspect of how we can do business and be effective. I get all my marketing off of the marketing system here for free. And what I mean by that is all the professional online aspects of, a postcard, a letter, an open house flyer. I can do so many amazing things through the enterprise on this. It shows our, like our business, structure, what performance we've done this year in sales, or through our, revenue share program. It's all this built-in activity that we can have access to 24/7 to go see what we're doing. Transaction management. So in this case, if it's the tool that's called SkySlope, that's what we use to track all of our transactions, all the documentation that comes in all the signatures from our sales and transactions. The community platform of we call it Workplace. So again, it's like Facebook built our own, connectivity of different groups, different sharing. In this case, again, using it as a tool to do business. So asking a question and getting some type of, whatever the answer is that you can then do your business. I really haven't focused on this too much, but I want to really focus on this part here, CRM and lead generation. So we have a system and tool called KV Core, right? So for me, the biggest plug on this one is, especially when you're new to the business and you want to build your clients, right? You want to build your future leads. This is such an important tool. It basically is our way to, connect with future clients, and then turn those clients into repeat clients, and the connectivity that it's all automated. I guess the best way I can share for this is, so each night when I first started out, I would basically either share listings, build squeeze pages or landing pages to share on different social network, media sites. I go to bed. In the morning, I wake up, I could have like 20 leads that would have come in. So that morning, I'm looking to see, okay, what are people looking at? If they're a buyer, they're a seller, is there a certain town? Is there a certain price point? From that point, I can build market reports. I could build a listing alert. In the dynamic, what that means is that's when the automation takes effect. You can then build a sequence of either emails or texts or communication to that future client on what they are looking for. It's powerful, right? I just had a client, or I'll say a family friend that I haven't talked to in like 2 years, but he's in my KV Core. He's a friend that he just reached out to me and said, Jack, I need to sell my house. Can you help me? And I'm like, yeah. And it's funny, I haven't talked to him in so long, but he's been receiving emails from me probably like on a monthly basis. I think that's what we set him up for originally. And just it was a general market report on a certain town that he's living in now. So again, it's such a powerful tool. And again, if you're interested in hearing more and seeing more about that platform itself, there's so much training that we offer through the eXp University, through KV Core itself, and even myself with our team. Like I used to host weekly meetings to go through some of these steps, and in this case, like building routines, right? So I've had some of the coaches that trained me early on, like Tom Trong and Scott, that once you build a habit over, say in this case, it's 21 days, then it's going to be a routine to build your business. So my example of that routine was getting into KV Core each night sharing ads, sharing listings, squeeze pages, landing pages, that type of thing to build business, right? And then over time, it's just a natural thing that you do every day, like practice, right? If you're in a sport and you're practicing each day, you're getting better and better at what you're doing. So let me just keep on going here because I want to make sure consideration for time. So the transaction management, or as we call it, sky slope, this is such a tool, powerful tool that it manages all of our transactions. You can review your transactions. A lot of times I'll even work right off my phone to upload a document, save a document, sign it digitally, and then run your business day to day. The community platform, again, this is something that it's so powerful that the topics and discussion points that you want to key in on, but again, asking questions in a certain group, if it's a commercial question, if it's you're trying to find a agent in Florida because you have a seller lead, that type of thing. This is so powerful. There's a lot of files that are saved here from past trainings and different topics for everyone to see. And each state broker team has their own site here as well. Again, for more information and more value to help us with our businesses. CRM lead generation, again, KV Core. This is our lead generation tool that we use. I know a lot of folks, if you're outside of the business, you might have to pay like a monthly fee to use this, like anywhere from $500 to $1,000, per month, which technically in our example, it's just $85 per month, right? With all the other tools that eXp offers. So by far we get such value for this. Live training, again, this is a little outdated that we have. It's over 80 hours a week right now. There's Excel, there's different series of trainings, they call them, the Excel series, the fast track series. There might be an icon agent that you took one training from them and you love the way they train. You can go back and see them at the different trainings that they offer from week to week, month to month. KV Core is part of that training series for beginner to advanced type of trainings. The eXp's resource guide and real-time support, right? So this is I'll call it within the world. The support teams are live, from weekdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as we're growing globally, right, I can imagine at some point we could be 24/7 because, we're going to be just that connectivity with all over the world, with all of us agents. It's going to be a pretty cool thing to get answers on the fly and so quickly. Community, how we collectively work together and how we grow again as a team. Diversity, this is a very important part of our business. The commitment to diversity, inclusion, we are all one team, and I think another part to me is some of the outside companies and folks that are seeing us and how we, the importance of this, we're getting, rewards or like acknowledgments from outside of the company these days. And if you, haven't seen that, it's something that I would say definitely, read up and look what's being said about us. Glassdoor, for example, has acknowledged us being one of the best companies since I think it was 2014. And each and every year we still hit that mark, which is a pretty awesome acknowledgement for us. eXp Life, all the different news stories that we have on the right, on the top of that screen there is Tom Trung. Again, amazing person, amazing dad, and leader here in eXp. He was a past president of ARIA, and what he does for, not like just locally from a community effort, but, again, with eXp, he does so much. There's so many aspects to eXp Life and stories One element for me a couple years ago, I think we were in Houston, and when we were at a conference, there was a group that was accepting donations from agents to, the dynamic was to raise funds to build homes in Mexico. Well, a year later, we got an email and we had a story posted on the eXp Life that over 100 homes were built for families in Mexico, that dynamic to provide them with housing, right? And this is all a basis of eXp and that giving back, but community efforts, and then I guess all of us, right, to advertise that. So we're part of something bigger than just us, and certainly bigger than just where, you know, we live and where, you know, where we do business. International collaboration, you know, look, just if I could kind of quickly go through the globe here and show you that all the different countries you do business in, you know, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Dominican Republic, now Dubai, that's a newer country. I feel like this slide, the value point of this is always changing. So every quarter you could have 1 to 3 new countries that are being added on this slide. Agent voice in the company. So the Agent Advisory Council, this is another very important part of our business. So if I have a concern, you know, if I have just a question to get right up to leadership, I could go through any one of the members on this, you know, council, ask a question or bring a concern forward, and this gets reviewed by our leadership. That's like the connectivity that we have with eXp. You know, even though we're growing so fast and so big, we have this is what Glenn has designed for us as agents to connect with leadership and to continually improve, you know, like that process improvement of what we're doing for us as a business, for us as a company, for us as an individual agent. You know, this is a very, very important part of the business. And I think that value of Glenn, when he designed this is such an awesome, awesome piece of our business. These are the current members. I can speak down here on the far right, Lisa Parento. She's from Massachusetts, down the Cape, an amazing leader, amazing person. And I would have no problem picking up the phone and calling her and to connect. And you know, if there's any questions or concerns I would ever have to bring forward to our leadership. So eXp Solutions. So these are all our partners. And what I mean by that, not partners for us individually, I look at this as how these folks are helping our clients, right? A big one for me, I use the American Preferred Home Warranty team to help me with, if there's a dynamic where this has happened a couple of times to me, there was some concerns with a buyer that some of the mechanicals and some of the pieces of the home were older and they didn't want to deal with, you know, replacing, say, a new furnace the first year that they bought the home. So what I did is I purchased a home warranty for a year. For me, it was only $420. And the dynamic is then I made a sale, right? I made now a customer for life because that client knew I was trying to take care of them. And they would have that, you know, that security that, hey, if something goes wrong in that first year, especially, you know, this is going to be, you know, warranted, whatever it was. There's a whole list of items in a home that they would cover for our clients. But there's so many partnerships we have with all these different companies. And again, it obviously benefits us, but for me, that showcasing point, it benefits our clients. I would even suggest for new agents, putting this slide into your listing presentation to show how much worth that you have, the value that you can bring forward to your clients. And here's just some more of those partnerships, and you know, as we call them, eXp Solutions that we have. So if you have any questions, again, I'm trying to cover a lot of bases here, and if there's different questions that you want to you know, ask going forward, please, you know, write them down. And if we can't answer them tonight, then certainly through the sponsor or the person that you invited here tonight. So join the team that's breaking down boundaries. And I want to just say this, the dynamic of a team, right? I don't care what age it is. If you're in youth sports, high school to college, when you have a really good team, a really good support system around you, you know, that to me resonates with me because it brings us up to such a level in life, right? And with eXp, all the people that are around us, they're all rock stars. They're always out looking to help us as again, I'll say it as an individual, but for our families, for our clients, and it's just a better focus on what we're all trying to do. And there's so many things, stories I could share, but I don't want to take up a lot of time here. In respect for everyone and Tony who's coming up next. But does anyone have any questions?
Well, hi, Jack. Could I just contribute? This is Dorothy in Massachusetts. I've known you for a while, and I've always been impressed with what a great family man and great coach you are, and how you pay so much attention to not only your own children, but other people's children. And so I look at you and you have a pretty complicated life, but you manage to be a full-time agent and be very productive. And you touched on it several times, but I wonder if you could, life gets very complicated for a lot of people, how they could benefit by having this kind of company to back them up.
Thank you, Dorothy. Yeah, I guess from maybe a personal level, and again, some of the coaching that I've had here, it's time blocking. It's building priorities during your week of what actions you need to take, what goals, in this case, writing down goals and taking actions each week and feeling good about it, right? Like at the end of the week, so this is a great storyline back to Dorothy. So some of our weekly meetings that we've had with newer members, especially, I would challenge them to, call a FSBO, call an expired, right? And in this case, if they're not comfortable with that, it's like, get uncomfortable. Let's just try it, right? Now, if they get that contract, Dorothy owes them a pizza. That's our reward. Now, just think of that Sunday night, Monday, when that new agent is fired up, feeling so good they got their first contract, and they got a delicious pizza coming from Dorothy. We're not really sure where it's coming from yet, but we'll figure that out next. But just that momentum, right? That feeling good about what you just did, and you're going to build off that the next week, right? Especially new agents. You don't, in the dynamic of time and gaps, like success, each week you should have some type of success that you're rewarding yourself so you feel good about that next week. And I've learned that all through eXp, all the leaders that we have here. Dorothy is a leader in her own right in what she does in the Boston area. And there's so many success stories. To me, that's such a powerful part of this. But Dorothy, thank you for bringing that up, because again, it's not just about me. It is about my family, all the boys in these sports teams. I have such big goals this year about giving back to some of our communities, and these boys are going to help me do that with a portion of my commissions to different, associations that we're tied with, different sports teams. But again, it's all because of eXp. Any other questions? This is just showcasing some of the outside viewers and companies that have given us some, acknowledgement of what we're doing and how we're building our business. Last year alone, I think our earnings, our revenue was over $4.6 billion. Each quarter, we were earning over $1 billion. So our market share and what we're doing as a company overall is growing, and just that we can compete with anyone and everyone, right? I think that's another part of that. Real trends, some of the last, in this case, 2020 timeline of some of the acknowledgements we've got with top independents, top movers in transactions, top movers in volume. Again, just some of our growth by quarter, and agent growth and revenue growth. So I think for ending here, to me, to become an eXp agent, what you need to do, like if at the end of this presentation, right, ask yourself from a number of 1 to 10, 1 being, this doesn't make sense. Maybe I was a bad presenter. I didn't really connect with you, but hopefully in this dynamic of, if you love what you see here and that connectivity and it's a 10, then definitely talk to the person that invited you tonight, and obviously get more of your questions answered. And but I don't, I joined 4 years ago now, and it's been an amazing ride for me and our family.